Rabs. Welcome to Torah Talks. I am your host for the evening. I am Rabbi Rabs, and to my right is the one and only, the very holy Levi ben Avraham, aka Luke Ford. Say hello to everybody.
Hey, sports fans.
Hey, speaking of sports, a lot of sports this weekend, huh? 3 big football games on Thanksgiving. Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you watch them all, Levi?
I did. I didn't have anywhere to go for Thanksgiving.
You had nowhere to go for Thanksgiving.
I said desperate. I even asked you if you wanted to hang out.
You know you're in trouble when you ask Rabbi Rabs if he wants to hang out.
And you already had something going.
That's amazing, too.
I mean, you were booked, and so
I was slammed all day.
Yeah, so I ate my raw oats.
Oh, boy.
And watched 3 football games while listening to edifying lectures on the Alexander technique. So I watched with the sound off, except for the final minutes of the Cowboys game.
Oh, you must have loved that.
Yeah.
You must have been enthralled with that game.
I was worried.
That makes up for last year, because on Thanksgiving last year,
oh, what a heartbreaker.
It came down to the last kick, and then
Roy Williams fumbling it at like the 15 at New Orleans. If he just held on to the ball, Dallas would have won.
Yeah, and then they possibly would have had an amazing
playoff.
Yeah, they could have. They might have.
They would have won every game.
Yeah, every after they canned the coach and Romo got hurt.
Yeah,
that was the best they've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is this the first time you ever spent Thanksgiving by yourself?
No, it's not. I've done it a disturbing number of times.
Tell us about that, will you please?
Well, it just tells you that something's wrong with your life. I'd say about half of Thanksgivings I spent on my own. So
I think that's very sad.
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, much of my life is sad, as is yours.
I think you've had a very tragic life. It's a tragedy. Is that the word?
It is.
It makes you
bereft of
it makes you want to give the guy a big hug, huh? Ladies, if this guy is huggable, huh? Are you huggable? He's the feel sorry for guy. He's the feel good story of the year.
I remember when I asked Rabbi Rav to help finding me a job, and so he upgraded me to a suite, and he took me out to dinner. And as we're driving back in the limo, he puts his hand on my thigh.
Yeah.
And I say, "What are you doing?" And he says, "You want a job, don't you?"
Yeah, and you
said, "Okay."
You said, "No, I don't. Not really, because that job blows." All right. So
good old Herminator.
Last year, you want to get to that right away? I wanted to continue on the Thanksgiving thing.
Right.
Last year, you went to somebody's house for Thanksgiving, did you not?
Mm-hmm.
And I was cracking up because you even put the photos of it on the internet afterwards. And
I didn't put them on there.
The host, and I was looking at a big ass turkey, just a big ass turkey sitting on the table, right? And everybody's chowing into it. Levi's got his almonds and his bananas over on the side. I'm like, what is wrong with this picture? Why is Levi even at a Thanksgiving dinner? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's a smorgasbord for meat eaters. It's just what does a vegetarian do at somebody else's Thanksgiving dinner?
Well, you assuage your loneliness by talking to other people and maybe connecting with someone.
I would end up feeling more disconnected in a situation like that, because then you become the oddball where, I don't eat meat, excuse me, everybody's chowing down the turkey and I'm good with the stuffing, so bring the stuffing on, bring it on me, and the cranberries, I'm the cranberry and stuffing guy, and it's like everybody's looking at you like you're a dork. I mean, I would just feel more withdrawn and more different.
That's never bothered me, so I guess in areas where you're solid, these things don't bother you, so it never bothers me if people are eating meat. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like having to pass it. It's all disgusting, but that doesn't bother me being the only vegetarian at a meal.
Okay. So nobody invited you this year. Why didn't you get invited back? Did you tell them some disgusting sex stories at the table last year? And
not too many.
Got dropped off the return guest list?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but my social cachet is basically zero. There's this one family, and about every month I email them, "Hey, keep me in mind when you're having guests for Shabbos."
And they go, yeah, we keep you in mind because we talk to the other guests about you. That's how we keep you in mind.
No, so I go to their place like at least once a month.
Oh, really? You do go? You go out?
Shabbos, yeah. And
Okay.
but yeah, more stuff to talk to my therapist about.
Oh, what happened as a carryover from last week? When I talked to you last week, and I said you might want to mention to your therapist my theory that of why you approached Judaism, and it was an intellectual pursuit, and you're trying to build yourself up and whatnot. And I said you should throw that by your shrink. Did you throw it by your shrink?
No, because he was sick one week, and then Thanksgiving Friday the center was closed. So I've been without therapy for 2 weeks. Maybe it shows.
Oh, but they let you out for 72. Never mind. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. You wanted to talk about something, but I wanted to save that other topic that you mentioned for inside your notes.
Okay. Oh, so I want to talk about, I went to dragonherbs.com, Dragonherbs, the store, in Beverly Hills, and I said, I've been suffering from chronic fatigue. What do you recommend? So they gave me some reindeer or deer antler.
Deer
I told him I was vegetarian, but I didn't mind taking products that came from animals.
You're not a vegan?
Yeah, or just for medicinal reasons, I'll take, whatever.
Well, you drink milk and eat eggs.
Yeah.
So you're not a vegan?
No, I'm vegetarian.
You'll eat cheese pizza.
Yeah.
Ice cream. Breast milk.
No.
Okay, never mind. Go on, next thing.
So they gave me this dropper, this thing that's like from deer antler. It comes from deer antlers, and I guess I googled it, and a lot of NFL players use it because it's like it promotes HGH or something.
That's a problem for them.
No, it doesn't show up on tests. So it doesn't show up on my Alexander technique tests either. Like, I'm totally legit.
So when you go in there and they give you the thing and you have to pee and all that, like the antlers don't show up.
Yeah, the antlers don't show up.
But what if like all of a sudden one day you walked in and like they started breaking through and like you started having like your own male antlers?
So it's kind of like glutinous. It's like I put it on my oatmeal in the morning. It's like it's in a dropper.
With the bananas?
Yeah, with the bananas.
And the almonds.
Almond milk. I just put droppers of this. Then they also gave me some green tonic stuff, some green tonic powder.
Everything is green with these herbs, people.
And then they also gave me ant powder.
What's it called?
Ant power tablets.
Ant powder? Where they smash up ants?
I'm not sure, but it gives me energy.
Oh, God. Oh, because ants are the strongest and fastest animals on the planet.
Oh, okay.
Did you know that? Fact. Look this up, folks. Ants, I think they can lift, they can carry 4 times their body weight.
Yeah.
Which is more than a man can, because let's see, you have like those big bodybuilders, and those guys are like 200-300 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So this would be tantamount to them lifting 120 and walking around with it.
Yeah.
No man can do that.
Yeah.
So they can walk around with carrying 4 times their weight.
Yeah.
That's number one. And number 2 is they're the fastest land animals, because people think, cheetah is the fastest one, right?
Right.
Because it runs like 65 miles an hour or something like that. But if you look at the body length of a cheetah, and how far it goes in let's say in a minute, it doesn't get that far. That doesn't get that many body lengths. But an ant is a little tiny body length, and it can make a mad dash.
They're like Darren Sproles.
Yeah, they're just exactly like Darren Sproles, right? It's like they're low to the ground, and they just move across the room. And if you add up how many body lengths they moved, it's faster than the cheetah. So it's amazing. So maybe that's what they did. They smashed up a bunch of ants, right? They crushed them together, and you're taking all of the energy from the ant, and you're putting it into yourself so that you can. I bet you it's better than Viagra.
Well, I haven't had the occasion to use it. And Rev Taka says Luke's looking old, and yeah, like every day I have to like clean the hair out of my bathtub. What's the thing with the drain?
That's what they call it in this country.
Yeah, so like my hair is just disappearing right before my eyes. Like it's getting thinner and thinner up here. So yeah, the deer antler and the ant powder is powering tonight's show.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting. I want to make some quick shout outs to the chat room starting to fill up. Big hello to Beloved the Champ. Hey Brett, how's it going? One of our biggest fans, Goy Kadosh, who this week is called Goy Kadosh. He's Justin. He wants everyone to know about our dates, so I'll tell him. You asked what did I do on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
I got taken out to Thanksgiving lunch by one of our viewers.
Really?
Yeah. This guy Goy Kadosh. Justin took me out to Mexikosher.
Wow.
Yeah. We take you, except they don't serve almonds and and porridge or whatever.
Almond joy.
You would hate this place. It's all meat. Let's see, who else we got there? Boy Wonder, hey Henry, how's it going? And Reb Taco, who refuses to tell us his name. Okay. So, it's just because you're second class. That's not nice. Alright.
He's saying I'm a guy.
Alright, so moving right along. So what do you want to do next? You want to talk about your book?
Oh yeah.
He says I'll take you out eventually, Levy.
Okay, I'll believe it when it happens.
Take him out on next Thanksgiving, because it's really sad when nobody invites this.
And don't expect more than a hug and a peck on the cheek.
Nobody invites this guy home to his house. So, ladies, you're thinking,
Take me home.
take this guy home.
Country road to the place where I belong, West Virginia. Cool, I'll come over for Shabbos. I'm down with that.
Yeah, that's a good idea for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go over there for Shabbos.
Shabbos alone really sucks.
Yeah, Shabbos alone sucks. Tell him. All right, bring out your book.
So, here's a fascinating book. It's on the history of the chair. It's called The Chair, Rethinking Culture, Body, and Design. So the use of the chair, widespread use of the chair, really only goes back to about 1900, or maybe even 1800, but it's only the last 120
whoa,
to 200 years.
I call bullshit. The kings and queens have been sitting on the throne for...
Exactly. Kings and queens have been sitting on thrones. Important people have been sitting on thrones. The chair has historically been a marker of prestige. But ordinary people weren't sitting in chairs all the time.
And why do
the
you...
important people, the kings and queens, were sitting in chairs.
Whoa, Charlie. It's called yeshiva. Yeshiva literally means sitting. Yeshiva means sitting, okay? Yeshivas were around with that word yeshiva long before 100 years ago.
Right, but they weren't sitting on benches like 2,000 years ago in yeshivas in Palestine and Babylon. They were sitting on the floor.
Or they were standing.
Well, they were standing.
I thought we had that discussion before.
Right.
And I, you know what, I always thought back then that they were sitting. But they weren't called yeshivas back then. They were called batei midrashos. Right? They were called base medrash, right?
Right.
Because they were the house where everybody learned, but it never actually says sitting. You think sitting because you go to yeshiva when you learn this, right? And you just assume they were all sitting. But really, it doesn't really say that I could find anywhere. Somebody has, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know for sure that it says in the Talmud something that where they, at that time that they were sitting, I'll stand corrected, and I want to know that, because I don't recall ever actually saying explicitly that they were sitting when they were learning. It could have been they were walking around, standing, or sitting on the floor, or squatting. But we do know that in Europe it's called yeshivas. And going back a few hundred years, they always talked about the Rosh Yeshiva of such and such a yeshiva. So I'm going to say it's long before 100 years ago, hundreds of years ago, the Jews were in Europe with yeshiva. So how do you explain that?
So I'm sure that they were using benches in the yeshivas in Europe, which were really only huge starting about the 19th century. So I'm sure many of them started using benches then. But anyway, in Rome,
Go ahead.
Rome they were using couches. So banquets and dinner parties were organized around couches. So Passover symbolically expresses Jewish freedom by eating while reclining. The couch and pillows are part of the Seder, a direct legacy from the time when pharaohs reclined while eating, and the chair symbolized the oppressed position of the Jews. Part of the ritual is to ask, why on this night do we eat reclining?
Exactly.
The answer is to symbolize freedom, because in Moses' time, only free men had the honor of reclining to eat.
And how do we sit on those things? No, it's not like that. See, that's the, we do this awkward contortion thing, right? But the way that they had it, like in the Romans, was, like you said, couches. Are you engaged in what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what my name is?
Rabbi Rex.
Okay. They laid down on these couches. They laid down, and somebody would come and hang a cluster of grapes over their mouth. You ever seen this, like in Cleopatra? And go, and they would, be fed like that. And that's what the Romans did. They were kicking back on a couch. They were laid out. They weren't sitting. They were reclining. They were like completely laid across a couch.
I can't believe what Guy Kurdish says.
You're not even paying attention.
I don't think my family would want someone over overnight. It would be weird bringing a strange older man with me to my Chabad shul. You talking about Rabs? Or you talking about me?
He's talking about you.
What makes me strange? And I'm not so old. I'm 45, but I got the body of a 41-year-old. But hey, you can just take me to a nice lunch or dinner. It's not that you're strange. Okay. So you're making some good points.
Okay, so they laid down on the couch. So it wasn't a chair; it was a couch.
Yeah.
And when they sat on it, they didn't sit. They were kicking back. They were like laying on a couch, and then they ate because somebody would put a cluster of grapes over. For those who didn't hear it the first time, because they were busy, just not paying attention to me. That is not the same as sitting. That's why by Pesach Seder, you're supposed to lay down, and you're supposed to recline. But the way we do it today is awkward because we're sitting in the chair and we're lean to the left, right? Yeah. And it's you have to do the subluxation thing, and it's this whole contortion business. Look, I'm really comfortable. And 9 times out of 10, you're not comfortable. It's not reclining to have to twist your body and with all that compression, right? To do that, it's supposed to be that you're leaning back into a couch. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. And so in the Roman times, chairs were rare. The pagans didn't really sit around on chairs. They would squat. What's funny?
Justin says, "I forgive you for all your sins."
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about chairs in the modern times.
All right.
And so the last half of the book is about chairs in modern times and giving an ergonomic perspective on what's going on. So most people find that they can't sit comfortably in a chair, and that started our mutual Alexander lessons, because you'd say, hey, I can't sit comfortably in a chair for longer than about an hour.
That was me.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm reading this book, and she makes the point that virtually everybody fidgets in a chair after a few minutes because there's no comfortable way to sit in a chair.
Right. You end up having to sit on your tailbone.
Right. You either sit on your tailbone or you come forward and you kind of slump over like this. But there's no good and easy way to sit in a chair. There's no chair that's good for you. All chairs suck for you. They're all deleterious. When you're sitting, even if you're sitting well, you're putting 50% more strain on your spine than if you're standing up or lying down. So there is no perfect chair. There is no stable posture. The seated posture is inherently unstable, so it can't be supported because you're always moving around because you can never really get comfortable in a chair. So people often want back support for their chair, and then the more they have it, the weaker their back gets, so they can't sit comfortably without back support, and it's just like a vicious cycle. So this is a terrific book. Once again, it's called The Chair by Galen Kranz.
And it's got an easy to remember name.
Yeah.
It's not sitting backwards or some big term what was that term you called, the lumbar iritis or something?
Right.
It's just the chair. It's like it almost sounds like one of these, horror movies. Previews.
The deep.
Of the chair.
The chair.
It sounds like it's like possessed,
So sitting tends to create a hump. See, because like the spine would...
don't show me, show them.
No, I don't want any copyright issues with YouTube.
Oh, whoa, that's really interesting. If you can imagine, there's a guy and there's a figure of a diagram, and the guy's like going, oh, my fucking back. Ah. Okay, go ahead.
So people ask, chair's bad for you, but in our culture you still have to use them, so what do? So there's a good intermediate step, and that's to sit on a stool. So do away with the back support, then you'll re-engage your back and strengthen your back muscles, and you'll be halfway out of the bad effects of sitting in a chair. So don't sit with a height greater than -2 inches from the top of your knees. So you should really be sitting 2 inches above your knees. So a forward tilt seat is best. So if it tilts a bit like that. Flat, uncontoured seat, like what I've got. You want butt space between the seat and the backrest. So like this. This is good. Mid-back support is fine. Flat, plain backrest. Armrest for support for reading, typing, keyboarding, painting, or other activities.
Okay, let me tell you what the chat room says. Okay. Justin says he honestly believes Levi just talks to hear his own voice. Brett says, seriously, what the heck is the guy talking about? And then they yelled out, get to the Parsha already.
Okay, I'm almost done.
Okay, he's almost done. By the way, Michelle entered the chat room. Hey, Michelle, big shout out. She said hello to both of us. Right? You know Michelle.
Do I know Michelle?
Yeah, you two are tight.
I mean, whew.
Yeah. I don't mean know her in the biblical sense. We'll get to the Parsha later. Now, I want to ask a question. You notice that already that the chat room's filled up. There's 5 people in the chat room. We're just getting started.
It's because I'm talking about the chair.
This guy talks about chairs and positions, and everybody comes flying to that. I have my own show. I talk serious Torah. I can't get anybody in the chat room. I don't get it. Okay, go ahead.
Folks, both feet should be flat on the floor when you sit. That organizes the spine upward. Legs should not be crossed. That protects the pelvis. Knees should be lower than the hip sockets. That takes the strain off the lower back. The pelvis should not be rolled back. Spine should retain its natural curves. Chest should be open rather than collapsed. Head should be balanced on top of the spine, not resting back and down on it like that.
All right, great job, lady. That was
Eyes
excellent.
should be able to look at work or people
big
with
round
a
of applause.
15-degree cone, not forced to look too far up or down.
Very good, very good. Big round of applause.
I need to do some Rogaine, but there's no permanent benefit from Rogaine. It's just like temporary. So.
It's a waste. Do you know that they tested Rogaine against placebo and it didn't pass the muster? It's amazing that it's still on the shelves. Okay, very nice. Everybody can pick that up. That's a chair.
There are lots of pictures.
Lots of pictures. It's really easy to read. Next week, we'll be bringing to you something from Levi's past. The book is called a different furniture piece. It's called The Bed. And Levi's going to talk about the bed. So give it up for Levi. Yeah?
So this author, Galen Kranz, she's an Alexander Technique teacher and a professor of architecture at UC Berkeley.
Okay, very good. All right, yay! We're so proud of Levi. Now, okay, so let's get to the Parsha. They asked for it, they got it.
Okay, fine. If that's what you want, sports fans.
All right, we're bringing up the Parsha notes, and here we go. Take it away, my son.
This week's Torah portion is Parashat Vayetzei.
Good. Parshas Vayetzei.
I'm Sephardic.
Yeah. Okay.
Genesis 28:10 to 33. Just imagine that guy didn't want to bring a strange older man to his Abad synagogue in Westwood.
Because I'll tell you why. Let me tell you about the Chabad in Westwood, and I can talk about this. It's not Lashon Hara. It's public knowledge. This is the Chabad in Westwood. I don't mind trashing them on this particular thing. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
That apparently is a 20s and younger shul.
Okay.
Okay? So I don't
Oh, so I'm too old for that.
You're too old for that shul, and so he would feel funny because you'd be twice as old as everybody. Like, what's your
Is this guy in his 20s?
He's 19.
This guy's
I
19?
think he's 19.
Oh.
Double check that. I'll double check that.
So a 19-year-old guy took you out to lunch.
He's the only young
Nothing
person
suspicious about that.
Oh, no, wait. He says, I go to Cheviot Hills? I thought you go to Westwood. I'm the only young person there. Okay, because I was going to trash Westwood. Since I already started and people are
Yeah,
going
go
to
ahead
want
and finish it.
Because here's the thing that drove me crazy. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for, this was years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just got engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And my Kala, my fiance,
Mm-hmm.
was 19. She just turned 19.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Purim was coming up. We were looking for a party to go to, right? And, I like to dance, do the Jude. What is so... Why is that funny?
You went to a dance party
No,
all the way out in the valley.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just
Little
these
boys.
teenage
Oh,
boys.
that was...
And Rabbi Rabs likes to dance
Woo!
with teenage boys.
Yeah, me and
Nothing
the-
suspicious about that.
Yeah, me and the Syracuse coach. Okay, there
I
was...
found Rabbi Rabs in the shower once,
It was me and-
sodomizing this 12-year-old
It was
boy.
me and the Penn State coach and the Syracuse coach, and we were having a dance-a-thon with the little boys. It was a lot of fun. All right, so we were looking for, my fiance and I were looking for a place to go dancing, a Jewish dance thing where for Purim. That's what I do. So Chabad's in Westwood was advertising that they had a big party going on. We're like, okay, so we'll definitely go there. But in the small print at the bottom, it said, you must be under 30. They discriminated against anyone who was over 30 is not allowed on the premises.
For that party.
For that party.
Yeah.
But that tells you where the whole thing is, because the party's supposed to bring you in so that you become a member, blah, 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 blah. But this was age discrimination. And this is the kind of bullshit that repulses me, and I'll tell you why. Because it goes on in this community, and it's the kind of bullshit that says, oh, this is geared towards our congregation as the students across the street at UCLA.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're over 30, the social mores say what?
Yeah.
What does the social norm say? Oh, it's age, what's that word again?
Age inappropriate.
It's age inappropriate. So here I am, I finally got engaged, right? After like 100 million years of being on the planet, I finally got engaged. And the Chabad of Westwood's giving me the big fuck you. They're saying, no, that's not good enough. You might be engaged, but you still can't come in here, It was like a black guy. I felt like a black guy in a white neighborhood, right? And it was like, you may be black, and we may allow you into the neighborhood, but you cannot come, into our, are you paying attention?
Yeah.
You're not paying attention.
I'm paying attention.
That you can't come to our shul.
Yeah.
You can't. We're not going to be invited to our party, and it doesn't matter if you're engaged to somebody here because we don't sanction interracial couples. And in their mind, I'm an interracial couple. And how do I know this? Because I had my challah ask the rabbis
If you could come.
if it make a special
Exception.
because she's engaged to me. And they said, no, we can't, because once we open up the door to that, we have to open everybody. And then it's like a whole bunch of Levi Ford's going to walk in, and all his porno friends. So I was not allowed to go in, so it was like an interracial couple because oh my God, I'm over 30. So what the punchline of all this was? We said, well, okay, what are the parties? We found a poster. There was a party at a club over here across the street. And there was a band party in the whole Geschäft, but it was 21 and over, so she couldn't go. So we just said, fuck it. We stayed home. No, actually, we got the last laugh. You know why? Because we went across town, and there turned out to be a party. Avraham Fried and Mordechai Ben David were on the street, and unlike the Chabad party, and unlike the one at the club, that one was for free. So we got Mordechai Ben David and Avraham Fried for free. I got to dance, she got to dance, and we gave a big fuck you to people like Chabad of Westwood, and people like, J Connect or whatever the hell it was, that had a party, but you have to be 21 and over, right? The hell with them. I'm so tired of age discrimination, people basing judgments and values based on how old a person is. You know what Torah says?
What does Torah say?
Torah says a guy is an adult at 13 and a woman is an adult at 12, and that's it. You know what I mean? What's this bullshit? You have to wait till you're 21 to drink alcohol. My God, my nephew was flying planes at 15 or 16. He had a pilot's license, right? If we can trust him up in the friggin' air, why can't we trust him with a beer? I mean, come on. What kind of craziness is this? All right, that's my. Go ahead, say your piece.
I didn't realize the guy was 19. It would be really strange being some older man for Shabbat dinner and that there was a bunch of olives.
I went out to lunch with him. I have no problem with young people. Did you know that most of my friends are 25 or over? 25 and under? All the women I date are always under 25, and most of the guys I hang out with would be under 25. You're the only person over 25 that I ever talked to.
Did you know that there's a city of San Fernando?
Yeah, but wait a second. I want to look at the chat room for 1 second.
Oh,
I was reading the chat room, and you ripped it out from under me. What happened?
Nothing. So, there's a city of San Fernando. I didn't realize that, but I read this funny story in the LA Times today, and I just had to share it with you.
Okay, wait a second. Okay, I can't read it. Guys, I know you're talking in the chat room. He keeps flipping from it. I can't see it. So I don't know
from the San Fernando Sun, seems it's not enough that's... Okay, San Fernando's got a 93% Hispanic population. It's on the northwest corner of Los Angeles County. I Googled it. I'd never heard of a city of San Fernando.
You never been there?
I didn't know. I don't remember.
San Fernando Mission is over there.
So,
it's right next to Pacoima.
Seems it's not enough that San Fernando has a police chief on vacation for having sex with a cadet, or a police dispatcher caught exposing himself, or Councilwoman Brenda Escueda's conflict of interest votes on the police department while having a sexual affair with Police Lieutenant Sergeant Alvaro Castellon. So a Monday night city council meeting showed that decorum and a sense of decency no place on the agenda of the San Fernando City Council.
What does that got to do with Torah?
So with his wife Anna sitting in the front row, Mayor Mario Hernandez, for whatever reason, decided Monday night was the night to formally announce that he lost his business, he'd filed personal and corporate bankruptcy. Secondly, Mayor Hernandez said, I'd like to put out there to squash the rumors that, yes, I've been in a relationship with Councilwoman Maribel de la Torre. So
what has this got to do with Torah? Why are you bringing this in now?
So his aggrieved wife stood up and said, that's why I'm here. Mayor Hernandez reported, yes, I know. And as she continued to speak, saying, I'm his wife, we weren't separated, the mayor used his platform to tell the acting chief of police to prevent his wife from talking, as residents gasped. And he went so far as to ask to have her escorted out of the chambers. So this other city council woman said that the mayor was acting ghetto.
You know, you don't even have to go to San Fernando. What about our Hispanic mayor?
Oh,
he had an affair while he was mayor. He's married. He had an affair with who?
He didn't like bringing it up in the middle of a city council meeting.
No, but he had an affair with one of the reporters who was covering him from the Mexican channel.
So, okay, people think, oh, it's wonderful we bring over all these immigrants from Central America and South America, and I think it is wonderful if they adopt American values. But Central America and South America have just as many natural resources as the United States do. Why are they so poor? Because their politics is corrupt. The way they do things is corrupt. And in English-speaking countries, we think that a marital affair is something to be ashamed of. But in Latin countries and in Europe, it's like France, it's not such a big deal to have affairs. So there's a certain kind of morality that comes with speaking English, and a certain kind of decency, and a much bigger decrease in governmental corruption and journalistic corruption.
Okay. And you said it.
So you're looking forward to Mel Gibson's Maccabees movie?
When does it come out? We talked about him
The next year or so. I can't wait. I think he makes great movies.
We talked about that at length. Why would you want to bring that up again? You know what movie is coming out next month that I want to see?
What?
Sherlock Holmes.
Okay. Well, this has to do with Torah.
Well, what did that? Why do we have to let a bunch of friggin' Mexicans? Why do we have to talk about them now? I mean, what's that got to do with us?
I just wanted to say, and then Mario Hernandez amidst affair with Councilwoman Maribel de la Torre.
And you know what? When he announced it, you know what when he said that.
Ay caramba!
No, they said go la 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 la. All right.
That's what he said every time he has a climax. He said, "Go la 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 la."
Yeah, that's right.
There was this novel, intense conversations with devious men. And there's a character in there. Every time he climaxes, he finds himself yelling victory to the forces of democratic freedom.
Who doesn't do that? Who doesn't do that? I mean, seriously, these days, I mean, who doesn't?
Rabbi Beryl Wine writes about this week's Torah portion.
Oh, by the way, folks, now we're actually going to talk some Torah for the first time in 36 minutes, so thanks for holding in there. You know, Brett's time is very valuable, and you're just wasting it talking about... He doesn't want to hear about Mexicans. Seriously, he doesn't. Go ahead.
The Talmud teaches us that anti-Semitism is a shortcut to fame, but eventually it is a long road to hell and destruction. Ask the Greeks, the Romans, the Crusaders, the Ukrainians, the Poles, the Lithuanians, the Latvians, and the Germans. Rabbi Wine writes, Hellenistic Jews no longer go by that name, but their program of advocating unchecked Jewish assimilation, no matter what the cost, still lives on.
And they have a name today. They go on, and what's their name today?
Secular Jews.
No, they're called the Zionists.
Cuss for sure.
Today's Hellenizers, are the Zionists. The Zionism is a religion unto itself. It's a form of strange worship, and it has its own set of what it considers important. And the important mitzvahs, if you will, according to the Zionist religion, is to move to the state of Israel, to move to the land of Israel, even though in flocks, even though that goes against the Judaism. Number two is that everyone should just mass produce children, because we need as many Jewish children as possible so that we can arm them, and then we can fight against the Arabs. So just spit out, quantify, and have as many kids as possible rather than quality. And it doesn't matter if there's too many kids for each person to handle, and it doesn't matter what kind of life they have, but we need them to carry guns. Let's use children as political pawns. And the third one is, did they even have a third one? I think that's everything you need to know. Just to have as many kids as possible. Oh, marry Jews. That's actually good, but the problem is they've redefined what a Jew is. A Jew is no longer necessarily somebody whose mother is a Jew. It's anybody who feels Jewish and had even one of your flimsy reform conversions. Did you know that Ariel Sharon said his definition of a Jew is anyone who's willing to move to the state of Israel and fight in the Israeli army is defined, look it up, is defined as a Jew. So this is the kind of thought process that goes on in the Zionist mindset. It's just fight the Arabs, have as many kids as possible. It doesn't matter what the definition of a Jew is, because Judaism is not part of it. It's a strange form of service. It's a embodiment of everything that's treif. And that today is the Hellenizers, because these people are perverting Judaism, just like the Hellenizers are. They are kissing the ass of Goyishkeit, and they are so enamored with what did you call assimilation, to the point they've watered down everything. And the proof to it is that 2 million Israeli Jews have left there, come over here, and assimilated. That's what it does. It breeds assimilation over there.
Boy, it's hot in here. Do you mind if I slip into something a little more comfortable?
You wouldn't be the first man. Are you even listening to anything I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. On your, we finally talk about Torah. Not where, and the people leave the chat room.
Guy Kadesh says, I'm old enough to be the rabbi's girlfriend.
All right. Hey, wait. Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
Because you're like sitting at the front of the chair here, which is making this whole thing very awkward and uneven. I want to see how we look.
It's more healthy to sit at the front of the chair.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll follow your lead since you're the chair guy. You're the chairman of chairs. Listen, on your blog today,
yeah.
This is a good segue.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about it?
Yeah.
On your blog today, one of your friends posted this video.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the video is of what? It talks about how
Israel is making these commercials and billboards to lure Israelis living in America back to living in Israel.
Right. But the message is more than that. It's don't marry Americans. It's saying Israelis should not marry Americans. In fact, the language is Israelis and Americans. It doesn't even say anything about Jews. It doesn't say Israeli Jews should not marry American Jews. Because Israel doesn't care about Jews. They care about Israelis. They've redefined what is important to them, and that is Israelis are important to them. Because Israelis are the people that fight in the war, and they have declared that there's some sort of special race of people because they fight in the war. I've heard so many people say that come from, I'm a more important Jew because I fought in the army, as if that's some sort of big mitzvah. And they say that Israelis should not marry Americans. Well, this is the last thing we need right now, is another division amongst the Jewish people. You know, it's not enough we have the Ashkenazis don't want to marry the Sfard, right? It's not enough that, like, Jews from Persia, the Persian Jews, won't let their daughters marry, white guys.
Unemployed old white guys.
Right? It's not this stuff is not enough that we already have these cultural divisions that are so stupid. It's not enough that lifers won't marry a convert who spend time in the porno industry. It's not enough, right? That okay, so you know what? A Baal Tshuva, let's say like he only had like 44 women, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's just 44 lines about 44 women. It's not a big deal.
Exactly. I used a condom.
Yeah. So I mean, come on. So we already have these divisions in the Jewish people. We don't need more. We don't need the state of Israel to come and further divide us by saying that, shouldn't have eaten all that Mexikosher with Justin, man. It's starting to come up. So it's not enough. It's not enough. So we don't need the state of Israel, thank you very much, to come and say that, we should not be married because don't marry the American Jews because they don't understand our culture, and we need to preserve our culture. Our culture norms need to be observed and preserved. Could you imagine a commercial that would come out and say that Ashkenazi Jews should not marry Sephardi Jews because they're not going to understand it? They're not going to understand what it's like to be so judgmental like we are. They're not going to marry somebody white, damn it, because you want to have matzo balls. They're not going to appreciate matzo balls and gefilte fish, because who the fuck would, right? If you're not Ashkenazi, you don't see any non-Ashkenazi people going like, you know what? I really could go for some matzo balls right now. Like, who does that, right? Hey, you're not paying attention to me. It's going to ruin the highlight clip if you're not paying attention. Now, right? So that's what's going on. So my thing is like this, we got enough of this going on, and I just see this as another way of separating Jews when it's not necessary. And furthermore, I resent the fact that they're telling me that I'm not allowed to marry their daughters. Not like I have a big interest in Israeli women, right? Because first of all, they don't even shave under their arms. Have you ever been to Israel? You get on the Egged bus, they lift their arms, there's like the whole forest going on in there. You're like, oh, God. Right? And Israelis only shower like once a week. And the week has to be like an odd week in the month or something. But, besides that, it's like, I don't need to be told, if I were to be in love and I wanted to marry some Israeli woman, I don't need to be told by the Israeli government, having them trying to intercede and interject their opinion and say that I can't marry their daughters and try to talk their daughter. Anyone, and I want to make this is my final point, Levi. Anyone on this planet that tries to interfere in my relationship and tells the woman that they should not marry me, anyone who interferes and intervenes and tries to prevent me from marrying somebody, I don't care who you are, you can go fuck yourself. You can go fuck yourself, and I don't care who you are. You could be the mother of the girl I'm dating. That's happened before.
The mother of Jesus of Nazareth.
You could be the mother of Jesus of Nazareth. You could be the Israeli government. I don't care. You could be one of my friends on Facebook who I've joked with for the last 2 years. I don't care who you are. When you say, and you try to intervene, and you say that you will prevent me from dating your daughter, you can go fuck yourself.
So after...
High five.
High five. After you had a nice lunch with Justin, did you invite him back here to see your etchings?
Is that what you've been holding on to the whole time? That is why you couldn't sit still and you couldn't pay attention because I got to tell this one. This one's funny. All right. Let me see. We got 4 people now, and we're bringing back the viewers.
So anyway, that commercial was aimed at Israelis living in America, and it was warning them against living in the diaspora, and it was warning them against shacking up with someone who wasn't connected to things Jewish. So in the commercial it shows an Israeli woman coming home on Yom HaZikaron, and her American partner just didn't get why this was such a big deal. And another commercial shows the Israeli grandparents talking to the grandchild in America via Skype, and the Israelis have Hanukkah candles burning in the background, and the little kid says that he's celebrating Christmas. So those commercials are standing up for Jewish values and
Jewish values, really?
Yeah,
okay,
maintaining Jewish practices.
Okay, but here's my problem with that, Levi. Can I say something? That gives the impression, and it's a false impression, that in the state of Israel, we don't follow Christmas. We follow only the Torah. Really? Because I live in the state of Israel, and I saw tons of people driving on Shabbos. They happen to now sell pig in Tel Aviv, right? They've allowed the Mormons to build a huge recruiting center, a whole educational place.
Well, they shouldn't be allowed to have a center?
This is not a Makam. They turned the state of Israel into a Makam Tameh. It's a place that kisses the ass of the Goyim by allowing in all these missionaries and all these Christian schools.
Having democracy.
So they've don't have the moral high ground in the Jewish world, I'm sorry, to go ahead and say, we only follow Judaism. We don't give any chashivas. We don't give any importance to Christian holidays. Bullshit! If you didn't think the Christians were important, then get them the fuck out of your Jerusalem. They stand there on the mountain. They've got this big center up for the Mormons, right? This is unbelievable hypocrisy. They give you the impression that the state of Israel is all about Judaism. No, it's about Israeli culture, okay? They have more foundation and have more in-depth of a relationship as a Jewish culture towards Baba Ganoush and a falafel ball than they do for the Torah.
You guys should check out the sequel to this.
It's called The Bed.
It's called the Stool. So, The Chair, Rethinking Culture, Body, and Design. Check it.
All right.
Rabbi Wein writes, Yaakov, means Jacob, for those who speak English, arrives the home of Lavan, that's Laban in English, penniless and persecuted, survivor from the ravages of the enmity and sword of Esau.
Aesop in English.
He is subjected to further humiliation and discrimination in the house of his erstwhile father-in-law and employer Lavan, who exploits his talents and labor to the fullest. In spite of this unfair treatment, Yaakov prospers, builds a family and future for himself. Yaakov's success in the face of overwhelmingly negative circumstances only enrages Lavan and his sons, and Yaakov eventually forced to flee and return to the land of Israel. Here he will again encounter enmity and great challenges to the survival of his family and himself. Now notice that Rabbi Wein in the Torah does not say, because of the unfair treatment that Yaakov received, he got affirmative action and massive social welfare payments so that he never had to get a job.
Why stop there? Go the extra mile. Say that you never saw Yaakov Avinu, you never saw Jacob our father when things were going bad and he had to work for 14 years and his wages got dicked with, right? You never saw him carrying a sign saying, occupy, what's the town that they're from?
Occupy labor.
Haron. It's Haron, right? It's not, we're having an Occupy Haron thing, right? I'm not working because my wages have been dicked with, right? I'm on strike. And then the next thing you know, I'm going to defecate on your property. I'm going to defecate on your property, and I'm going to rape your women and your children, right? And I'm going to throw rocks. And then Lovin comes out with the pepper spray, and suddenly Lovin's the bad guy. Lovin's the bad guy. Oh, brutality! Oh! Okay, go ahead.
So Lavan and Esav, Laban and Esau, resemble each other acutely. They are all about now, the additional pot of lentils and labor that can be squeezed out of the weak and defenseless. No thought about the ultimate future and consequences of their behavior. Yaakov states, tomorrow I will come into my reward. Jews are concerned about their ultimate tomorrow and not just today. He who is concerned about tomorrow is also successful today. So as Jews, we live intimately linked to the past and to the future.
And that's what you're doing right now. You're involved with providing yourself a future.
Exactly.
You're taking the necessary steps.
Exactly.
Because you're not just living in today.
Exactly. I'm not just trying to sleep with as many people as I can.
However, you've not
I've
always...
been with 44 in the past, but I was a different man then.
How about 44 lines about 44 women? All right. Go ahead.
Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, that's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob,
Yes.
all suffered from success-induced jealous reactions from local populations where they lived.
Where does he get that from? I don't see that.
So how do you react when people
Wait, answer me this. You quoted Rabbi Wein, you didn't even question it. Because Rabbi Wein says it, therefore it's fact, right? If Rabbi Rab said it, you'd argue it. But Rabbi Wein says it, so he somehow is beyond reproach. Where does he get that from? I don't know that to be true. Where does he get that from?
Abraham had to deal with jealous local populations. Like the king said, you're too successful, you need to leave.
Oh. He's just saying that they had to... Okay, I heard you wrong. He's just saying that the people around them were jealous.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't saying that they succumbed to... that they made compromises or they made it affect them in a way that it changed their attitudes.
Right.
Oh, okay, yeah, I would agree with that. Okay.
So how do you react when people excel you? Do you get jealous and do you hate them for doing better than you? What do you learn from them?
Let's ask the question to you, and then I'll answer it.
Well, I have all those reactions.
You get jealous when people...
Sometimes.
Do you get jealous by the fact that I'm more popular than you, let's say, on Facebook, and everything I write gets a huge reaction. The stuff you write, nobody gives a shit.
No.
Doesn't bother you
I
at all?
don't think I've ever been jealous of you. Except maybe on Thanksgiving. And
because Justin took me from Mexico, sure.
And maybe, you've got a hot 19-year-old girlfriend. But aside from that.
I asked you last week if that made you jealous. You said no.
Well, I don't want to take your girlfriend from you. But
she doesn't want you. You don't have to worry. Yeah. You want to know why?
Yeah, why?
Because this is what she said, she could never marry somebody who has already been in porn.
Doesn't the Torah want us about having these sorts of filters on our future marriage partners. Just because someone's directed a porn movie doesn't mean he won't make a good husband and father to your kids.
Oh, that's actually her point. Right?
Yeah.
Because, if this is her point. Just we were speaking hypothetically because we're talking about you. And she was like, if she wanted kids, she would not want her kids to find a picture of you with your pants down on the internet.
There aren't any pictures of me with my pants down on the internet.
Okay, well, even if that doesn't show the pants down, just you in the room at a porn scene or whatever. Something that she doesn't want her kids to.
On the internet.
How do you know?
Because I know.
What about the fact that your name is on a website that has
It's solid reporting on the porn industry. It's just like
if
60
we go there
minutes.
right now, we're going to see titties and ass. You know that.
Go ahead. You're going to find honest-to-goodness, solid, hard-hitting reporting. Which one you want to go to, lookfor.com or lucasback.com?
It's going to be a challenge for you. What woman is going to be okay with her kids finding that on the internet?
Maybe a rabbi's daughter.
Okay. All right. So your only thing you might be jealous is if I have a 19-year-old girlfriend, and that I had a place to go for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's about it.
But not.
Oh, well, I think you've got a nice place here.
Oh, right. And you like the price I pay.
I don't like the price you pay.
Right, but the fact that I did comedy and blah blah blah, I had a career in that and that thing.
Yeah, I wish I could do stand up. I've never done stand up. I wish I could do stand up. But aside from your ability to do stand up, your nice apartment, the good deal you got for it, you had a place to go for Thanksgiving, you got a hot 19-year-old girlfriend. Oh, and you studied in yeshiva for years, and you're fluent in Hebrew, and
right,
and you can pick up a chumash and make sense of it. Aside from that, I'm fine. I'm just chill.
Right. So you're okay with all that?
Yeah, I'm good.
But I want to know. I'm going to tell you my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you said that you see someone getting further than you, right?
Mm-hmm.
It pisses me off that Matis Yahoo got to where he's at right now. I mean, this is an old story. I mean, I've been pissed about.
You've been ragging
I've been ragging about this for the last
as long as we've been doing the show.
6 years.
Yeah.
This pisses me off to no end. Because I was the one who broke the door down. I was the one who became the very first crossover guy. The guy dressed in Hasidic...
Cross-dresser.
I was the first cross-dresser. No, I was the first crossover guy. I was doing comedy in major Goyish nightclubs in front of crowds of all Goyim, dressed, in full Hasidic gear. Never changed myself, didn't have to do some black mamba music. You didn't see me doing look at me, I'm doing reggae because Jews stuff doesn't sell, so I gotta change and make it sound like this is what we do, ba ba da ba ba da ba da, and it's what? It's I don't try to be something I'm not, keep it Jewish, you know what I mean? I don't go up there on stage and put on a black accent and look at me, I'm Chris Rock. Yeah, I'm Chris Rock. Yeah. It's I don't do that. I don't go up there and try to be black. I go up there and I'm Jewish up there. And I'm true to myself. Right? And this guy goes up there to do the crossover thing, and I'm going to do the black thing now. I'm reggae. And I go, no, you're a fool. Okay? And what happens? America embraces this guy, right? Yeah. He's not even Shomer Negia on stage. There's people on my Facebook, girls on my Facebook, he's got pictures of them holding each other. I'm like, what? This guy's publicly not Shomer Negia. He gets up there and he sings, what's that? There's on the internet, it has him singing Yehi Adonenu Morenu Rabbeinu, right? So this guy's completely screwed up philosophically, right? And this guy is embraced by America. Oh, he's a big sensation. Oh, and he's got all the fame, and he's got all the glory, and he's got all the money, right? I'm here, starving to death, I'm in a piece of shit apartment that the
That's
only
a lovely apartment.
the only person on the planet who likes it is Levy, right? And this guy's got all the glory. I did all the work. He's got all the fame, and I'm screwed, and I'm begging for money. And by the way, everybody, once again, the first of the month is coming up this week, and everybody should send your money to us, right? Because we're both starving. We haven't seen any money in some time, and this just pisses me off. This just pisses me off to no end. Anytime someone mentions Matisyahu on my Facebook newsfeed, I have to hide them from my newsfeed because I don't want to hear about this guy. That's like my arch nemesis. I worked so hard in the comedy business. I was big, lady. I was in an Academy Award-winning movie. The Academy doesn't give awards to comedies, but I was in... How many comedians can say they were in a movie that won an Academy Award? Huh? Not many, because Academy doesn't give awards for comedy. I got one of those, right? What else? I'm on primetime TV. I'm a big deal. I'm at the Comedy Store, a regular for 5 straight years. Week in, week out for 5 years. I'm on the stage. I'm up there for hours. And this guy comes along and he's got like one big hit, and how does it go? It's like, whatever the hell he does, right? And it's just, ugh. Okay, go ahead.
So the chat room wants to know, what's the point of having a 19-year-old girlfriend if you're Sherman McGee?
Well, that's Liquid Rock. I'm not even going to
For the
answer
spiritual rewards. Folks, it's not all about the old in-out. Okay, here we go.
Oh, wait a minute. Blev DeChamp says, I want to have evidence of him touching girls. That's easy. There's a woman on my Facebook. Remind me later tonight. Send me a message or something. I'm going to get you I'll get her to post that photo up because she loves that photo. That was once her profile pic, was a picture. This was like the worst photo. Somebody came to me and they sent me a friend request. That's some stranger, right? This woman. And she wanted a friend request on Facebook, and her profile picture was her and Matisyahu holding each other. And I'm like, this is like the double whammy. It's like the double whammy. It's like, okay.
Okay, can I go on with Torah here?
Michelle, are you age appropriate for? This is what we did last week. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Rabbi Wein writes, this is also a lesson that our father Jacob, intended to teach us. We are not allowed to rein in our talents and achievements, but we are certainly bidden to rein in our egos and bluster. That is also an important Jewish trait that should be a foundation in our lives. So it's okay to use your talents and achieve, but we don't need the ego display, and we don't need the bluster, we don't need to...
Yeah, check in your ego at the door, Levi.
Rabbi Wein writes, Rashi points out for us in the beginning of this week's Parsha, really the conclusion of last week's Parsha, that Jacob stopped at the study house of Shem and Aver for 14 years.
Right.
On his flight from Esau to his uncle's house in Aram. This seems to be a strange stopover at first glance. How will the instruction that he received in the school established by Shem and Aver contribute to his survival and success at the house of Lavan, the master conniver and duplicitous character? The question is phrased in a more current and blunter fashion in the Talmud itself. What value are the Torah students to society at large? To meet Lavan, Jacob apparently needed to train in different forms of legal, commercial, and worldly pursuits. Studying Torah is all well and fine, but how does it prepare one for the real world? This question is heard today in thousands of Jewish households. Is the most vexing one. Our world today is one of Lavan compounded. So many Orthodox Jews never go to college.
Wait, I wanted to comment on that.
Let me finish this paragraph. Their education was in yeshiva. Then they go out to the world and they do quite successfully in business.
Right.
And thanks to Torah study, I've also been able to enter diverse worlds and achieve great success, even becoming the Matt Drudge of a particular industry. See, it would have all been very easy for me to get sucked into the ways of Lavan while I was reporting about Lavan's industry, but I was able to just
top
report,
journalism stuff.
Just do solid journalism about
you
the ways
got
of
two
Lavan.
websites with your name on it.
without ever like getting sucked into the world of Lavan or just like drawn in and have Lavan's legs just like close around me. I never like got, forced to like give up my Yiddishkeit. I never like,
no compromising.
No compromising. I didn't like get under a lot of strain. It's like, oh, I just got to shoot out all of my Yiddishkeit right now. I mean, I was just able to just stay within the Daled Amos of Torah.
Nicely said.
Thank you.
Nicely said. Can I comment on this? Okay. First of all, my first comment is I take exception to one particular term that you used.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, you just covered over it, so there's no way I can possibly say it. You said that, or you quoted this rabbi as saying, to prepare you for the real world. Mm-hmm. Well, the truth of the matter is that Torah and yeshiva is the real world.
Exactly.
And there's nothing like making my words less important than walking away in the middle of them.
Good point. Good point, once again.
The real world, ladies and gentlemen, is learning Torah in yeshiva. That is the real world. Everything outside of yeshiva, that is, I don't know what that's not our purpose for being here. Our purpose is to learn Torah and do mitzvahs. The reason why it was important for Yaakov to go and learn in the yeshivas of Shem and Aver is because he was having to go off the Padamaram, or how you call it. He was going to Haran. He was going into the non-Jewish world. He was leaving the real world behind. And the Torah that he got from his father was the kind of a Torah, the Torah that he learned, the Judaism that he learned, the Yiddishkeit that he learned.
Was it's healthier to sit in a squat.
He's like a complete fool.
It's healthier to squat.
The kind of Torah that he learned from Yitzchak, his father, was the kind that prepares a person when they're living in Eretz Yisrael and everything's really easy and they don't have to deal with Goyim. So he had to go to a different type of yeshiva. He went to the yeshivas of Shem and Aver, who live out in Chutz La'aretz. They live out there in the streets of Pico Robertson, and they learn and they teach you how to survive with the Goyim. And it's a greater achievement, it's a greater avoda for a Jew to keep Torah and mitzvahs in a place that there's choice. And I think it's obvious that it's a bigger mitzvah and it makes a person holier to keep Torah and mitzvahs, lady, on Pico Robertson than anyone in Eretz Yisrael could ever do. Because over there, right, you have to work hard not to, there's no temptation. Here, we're only blocks away from the Hustler
There's
building.
a strip club just down the street here.
Yeah, when you come off the freeway,
10, yeah,
it's hilarious.
Like every time I get off the 10, there's like a strip club with free entrance right there.
It's like you get off the 10 freeway at Robertson because you want to go check out Pico Robertson. It's like, hello to the neighborhood. Here's
free buffet.
Yeah, and then you go up.
It's kosher, RCC.
And you go up La Cienega. The next one, you go right to the Flint Productions. So there you go.
The Lakewood Rav asks, what is the Goy's purpose for being here since he does not learn Torah?
He's to serve the Jews.
Carry our bags.
He's a schlepper.
Exactly. That's why I hang around so many women of easy virtue, for the challenge that they present to my Jewish soul.
All right. What's the next thing about that? What does the Torah say? By the way, big blowout here. This is good.
Rabbi Wein writes, a proper Torah education, study course at the school of Shem and Aver, is meant to impart lifelong values and a worldview in which to fit the events of one's life in a proper and moral fashion. One has to learn how to deal effectively with Lavan, but one has to be very cautious not to become Lavan in the process. Self-defense and protection of one's own interests is part of the Torah value system, but pleasantness, sensitivity, faith in God's justice and promises, and a willingness to tolerate and accommodate others, even unpleasant others, are also part of the value system of the Torah. Rabbi Wein writes, the inherent disdain towards Jews generally and currently focused primarily on the Jewish state of Israel is a product of millennia of Lavan attitudes. In the 1930s, though Franklin Roosevelt was appalled by the treatment of Germany's Jews by the Nazis, he nevertheless commented that Hitler was correct in asserting that there were too many Jewish doctors and lawyers in Germany. His fashionable Hudson Valley manor house upbringing imprinted this attitude upon his psyche. So Rabbi Wein writes, behind the veneer of his intellectuality and liberal humanism, Lavan is a killer, a murderer of his own family simply because he detests Jacob and all that he stands for. Laban has diplomatic solutions for Yaakov's problems with Esau. Laban wants a single-state solution to the Israeli-Arab war. He wants the anachronistic Jew and his baffling religion to disappear. He really wants what is best for us, but we are too stupid to accept his suggestions. Laban is thriving today in the UN, the European Union, academia, and unfortunately even among some of Jacob's descendants. But Laban also is to be vanquished, left in the ash heap of history. After 4,000 years of history, not much has really changed. Rabbi Wein writes, the Nazi slogan in Germany summed up the matter succinctly, albeit brutally: the Jews are our misfortune. And in our century, the attitude of the leaders of the Soviet Union toward its Jewish population was also one of pathological disdain and suspicion. Yet the Jews were castigated for leaving, in many instances prevented from leaving, their homeland, belonging for Zion and Jerusalem. Countries of our exile always claimed that our children belonged to them, that everything we possessed was in reality something taken from them. Sad events of this bloodiest of centuries testifies to Lavan's true intentions and the difficulties of living in Lavan's home and the difficulties of leaving Lavan's home. But somehow Yaakov did leave Laban and finally returned home. There would be many difficult and sad stops on that way home. Jacob nevertheless persevered and came home. That pretty much is the story of this century of Jewish life. Great centers of the Jewish exile, except in North America, have all practically closed down. The Sephardic world of the Mediterranean, Near East countries, heartland of Ashkenazic Jewry in East and Central Europe, are almost Uden Rhine today. Most of the Jews, and many non-Jews as well, have left Russia and settled in Israel. The diaspora is slowly closing down. Jacob is going home no matter what. Lavan may not be happy with Jacob's decision, or that Jacob has a home to go to, but Jacob owes Laban little. Therefore, Laban's objections are no longer relevant to Jacob's plans. Children of Jacob live his odyssey in their lives in the present, so may we be able to follow in his footsteps in the future.
This guy is such a Zionist. Can I retaliate here? Can I respond?
Yeah, as long as it's not the same thing you said over and over again.
No, this has got to be dealt with. What kind of... I just can't sit here and take it. He's saying that, oh, look at the diaspora closing down. America's next. It's going to close down, spit out its Jews. Everybody's going to come home to the state of Israel. Woo-hoo! I'm sorry, I don't buy it. First of all, which is safer, folks? The state of Israel or America? Which is the place that's better for the Jew? I'll let you think about that, and I'll give you some facts. It's brought down in that commercials that of your friend that they're kind of trying to bring back 2 million Israelis that have moved to America from the state of Israel. Let's see. Total, maybe 6 million Jews in the state of Israel, and 2 million of them have moved back to America already. Yeah. Right? I don't see that millions of American Jews are moving to Israel, but I do see that millions of them are flocking back over here. Could that be possibly because it's safer over here than it is over there? I think so. Did you know that 16,000 Jews have died for being Jewish in the state of Israel since its creation, right? Not nearly that many have died outside of the state of Israel since 1948. Not even close. To even say that the state of Israel is a safe haven for the Jew is being intellectually dishonest. What one should say right now, that America has established itself as the new Babylon. America is the place of Babylon. It's the place in Chutz Lioretz, it's the place outside of the state of Israel that has become the greatest tourist center and the most embracing place for Jews and Judaism to thrive in. And just like Babylon lasted for 1,000 1,000 years, America will last for 1,000 years. What is temporary and what is not a safe haven is the state of Israel. Just as the people who lived in the Holy Land during the time of Babylon had a very bad history, which we're going to talk about coming up. Hanukkah and all these terrible things happened in the land of Israel. And that is why, by the way, we talked about it we hold by Beis Hillel and not by Beis Shammai, because Beis Shammai was learning in Eretz Israel, and Beis Hillel was from Babylon. And Babylon was learning at a higher level because they weren't disturbed by all this craziness, by wars and terrible kings and all this stuff. Babylon was the place where we learned steadily and we learned with peace. And the Torah and the Talmud tells us that we didn't have to go out and work very hard for our food because you'll like this, Levi, because the carobs and the dates were very plentiful. You would have loved it. You could just eat carobs and dates and almonds and porridge all day,
Sweet.
Yeah. So we were doing very well in Baghdad, and we were the Baghdadis for whatever it was. We also moved to Tehran and these places. We became Persians, right? And we drove our BMWs, right? And this is what we did, and this is the great learning that we are. So to say that all the Jews are leaving diaspora and coming back to Israel is fallacious, and it sours the meaning. It's as if you're saying that the Jews are returning from Babylon and they're coming back to Eretz Israel, but not only is that inaccurate, but it would be negative. It would be a bad thing. Because we learned better in Babylon. That's the lesson. So to go ahead and make the Zionist statement and to bring it into Judaism, not only are you trying to mix apples and oranges, because Judaism and Zionism were never meant to be cohesive. We discussed that earlier. Zionism is its own religion. Judaism is its own religion, and they have very little in common, and they actually go against each other. Because Judaism says they should never create that state of Israel to begin with. So to try to mesh the two, you only do extreme damage to one or the other or both. And in this case, they're damaging Judaism. Because you're saying, because there's this, we should go learn in the Holy Land. Learn the lesson from Babylon. We were there for 1,000 years. We were in Babylon undisturbed for 1,000 years. The best learning that the Jews ever did in our history was over there. Let's establish that in America. America has embraced us with open arms. This is a country we can thrive in. This is a country where Judaism will be successful at. This is our new home. Okay? I invite everyone who lives in the state of Israel to come back over here. Go ahead.
So it's really important your chair seats not be too high. So keep both feet on the ground, even while you're reaching for the stars.
Hey, you know who's in here? Hector's in here. Hey, Hector. How's it going?
Now, the front rail of the seat should be curved downward. The depth and width of the seat should be 17 inches. Now, you'd think, why does this fit a surprisingly wide range of body sizes? Probably because the thigh bone has the lowest standard deviation of any bone in the body.
Okay.
Weight should be distributed through the bones, not the flesh. When seated, you should be able to feel your sit bones on the seat. Your flesh is not supposed to be load-bearing, bones are. And space between seat and back is preferable to continuous support. And you can find more fascinating insights just like these in the book called The Chair by
Stephen King.
By Galen Krantz. So kiddies, stay off the crack. Keep your both feet on the ground. Think up through your torso, free the neck, and stay in yeshiva.